You're watching Past the Wire TV.
You know, Kev, we're pretty famous on this Past the Wire TV during the live show last night with John and Gio. People were asking if we were going to do a show, so here we are delivering for the masses.
For the people. We, aside from a spot play last week, we have yet to give out a winning ticket, but we are getting closer. Our single hit, we ran into these mile races at Saratoga are just, it's like trying to bet Turfway. It's just impossible to try and pick a winner. But we've avoided a mile race in this sequence on Sunday, and I feel optimistic.
Yeah, and we ran into a $25,000 claimer race and a maiden special weight that is full of first-time starters. So, avoiding the mile races, but, also willingly walking out into probably deeper water. But the people want it, and we're going to deliver, and we'll try our best to string a couple of winners here together. And we're going to kick things off with the Shuvee on Sunday, which is race 5. We're going to cover races 5, 6, and 7. And we're going to start with a single in the 5th, the Shuvee, and we both landed on Raging Sea, Kev.
Yeah, I liked this horse. Sorry, let me just make sure I'm saying the right thing. Her race in the Double Dog Dare at Keeneland was kind of jumped off the page. I remember watching and betting that race. She's just got a good turn of foot, and she had a tough run in the Ogden Phipps last time out, but she's facing way easier in here. Shotgun Hottie, the one, is going to take some money here just because ran a close second to Scylla last time out at Churchill Downs, who's been running well, but I just think this is a nice spot for Raging Sea. And she'll be second choice, hopefully, get a little bit more value out of her, but I think she could be a good play in here.
Yeah, I agreed. I think Shotgun Hottie is probably going to be over bet. Venti Valentine, that's my girl. Followed her all the way to the Kentucky Oaks, and owned horses with Final Furlong. Really one of the best teams in horse racing, but she's just much slower than this group here. Though that said, she does love Saratoga. This Misty Vale felt like she just first off the layoff with Maker last time. She popped a big number, so I think she's probably gonna get over bet. And this Raging Sea, she likes Saratoga. She's got a win there. And to your point, perhaps just didn't necessarily like it last time in the Ogden Phipps, and certainly getting a bit of class relief here against this field. So I'm expecting her to be running late, and perhaps in a race that doesn't have all that much early pace. She should be running pretty well down the lane, and I think she gets there.
Yeah, and just one more point is, this is only her 3rd start of her 4-year-old season, 10th start overall. I just think there's a lot of room for her to improve, where Misty Vale is running, their biggest number, and this is going to be start 39 for her coming up. So I just think it leaves an opportunity to her to kind of run off the page here, hopefully.
All right, race 6. We were just kind of going back and forth on this race before we jumped on here. We landed on 3 horses in here, the 3, 4, and 8, which we'll touch on. But I think, it's worth mentioning this 5, When Love Takes Over, for Ray Handel, just taking a massive class drop here and is the class of the field. So everybody watching this doesn't think we're totally oblivious and complete dunces when it comes to handicapping. Probably the most likeliest winner, but we did like some others in here. And from a betting strategy standpoint, we just couldn't justify including the 5 while also including some others. But at the same time, we didn't feel confident enough in singling the 5. So we just left the 5 off altogether, realizing that, taking a big class drop for Handel and should be a top contender that we're trying to beat in this race.
Yeah, and one more point, and you can kind of poke holes in any favorite the longer you look at their sheet. But 3 back, he ran an 89 on Brisnet, was by far his, probably his best race, won by 4 lengths. But if you take that out, if you go back through, he's run 83, and he's not a very consistent horse. When he runs well, he runs well. And if he runs his best race of his life, he's easily going to win this race. I just think with 2 straight declining speed figures, granted one was on the turf, probably not his preferred surface, but to me, it was just there was enough question marks where you could basically, for me, it's as long as I can come up with one question mark, I'm going to try and look elsewhere. And I think a lot of people are going to be looking at this horse thinking, class drop, Ray Handel's been running well at Saratoga so far. This should be a strong favorite.
Yeah, we both like this 3, Warrior Richard, for David Donk. Again, like we've talked about in the last couple of weeks doing these shows, when we run into these claiming races, one thing that I like to look at is if they are, relatively lightly raced. So, the 16 races, it's kind of fringe in that angle. But what I did like was just how consistent this horse has been in its last 3-4 starts, having consistent speed figures, consistent late pace figures. And that was what kind of jumped off the page at me. Getting Irad aboard, I think is another positive. So that's what drew me to Warrior Richard. What about you?
Yeah, to me, his consistency and his late pace figures, anytime you're going high 80s, low 90s, and late pace in this level of a race, you're going to contend. And he's dropping in class 2. The last time he ran even close to this was last April, and he won. These claiming stakes, he's around it. He's hitting the board. It's the allowance level that it seems to be a little bit too much for him. So I think this class relief is going to help him out as well.
The 4 was one that I liked. The being forwardly placed, I think, will benefit this horse here. And let me just check my notes, because I just I texted you about this horse a little while ago. And where is it? So this last race was the best race at this distance, at this same class level, improving speed figures, on the Brisnet. And I know, unfortunately we're not able to share those with the audience, but 3 back, 73 Brisnet speed figure, 2 back, 76, last race in 80. And this will be his second start with this trainer. So I just think there's a couple of pretty decent positives coming into this race for, really some unknown connection. So I think he's probably going to get overlooked, and, really just the coming off of a not necessarily career best race, but one of the better races that he's had in the last year, along with that running style of being up and on the pace, I think is going to benefit him.
Yeah, and I mean he has a win at Saratoga. Blinkers on too kind of tells me that they may just try and blitz the field here, which lately at Saratoga it seems like if you can get these guys running, if you could get a couple lengths on the field, I don't know if he'll be able to do that, but it just seems like these forwardly placed runners lately and these sprints have been doing well at Saratoga. So that's, if anywhere, that's where you want to be.
Yeah. All right. And then we landed on the 8, and this was one of the horses that you really liked.
Yeah, to me, lately I've just been liking a lot of these horses that kind of run this uh, aqueduct circuit over the winter and just get absolutely exhausted and kind of start to show some declining speed figures, but then they finally get a break. This horse has got some regular workouts in. It's been working kind of pretty much weekly since at least June. And then they had that last pretty fast 3 furlong workout. I kind of like that in these sprints going into a race like this, kind of get the horse a little pumped up and ready to run. I'll be honest, Saez has been brutal this meet so far, and he had a couple losers today too. The sheet says 2 for 27, but that doesn't take in today. I just think from the outside, this horse is probably going to be rested and ready to run, and is going to run his best race. Whether or not that's good enough to win, I hope. But to me, if you're looking outside the favorite, he was one that could win.
All right. And then the 7th race, we landed on another few in here. Let's start with, and a lot of first-time starters in here. I think we might have similar, but maybe some different ways we go about handicapping these baby races. Let's start with this 2 for Chad Brown, Virgin Colada. What did you like about this one?
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like a run-of-the-mill, kind of square angle, but Chad Pratt, first-time starter going along on the turf, always kind of piques your interest. To me, the way I kind of look at it too is like, so this race has a few horses that have started before, not on the turf. I just think if this horse is going to run to a Chad Brown standard, a Resolute Racing standard, I think this horse is going to run, should run in the 80s. And hopefully that's enough to win. And at 9-2 morning line, I don't think he'll be that high just because of the connections and the jockey. But to me, I think he's not going to be favored, and I think that adds a little value here.
Yeah. I agree. I think one of the angles, and we'll talk about this with a couple of these others that we have here, just not necessarily the time of the workout, but the spacing and the consistency of the workout is something that I like to see. Which we'll get to this 9 who's been training weekly since April, so we should be pretty fit. But that's one angle that I like to look at, and this 2 certainly has that. The 5 running away, Wesley Ward, Johnny V. Again, just consistent workouts since April. Not necessarily the fastest you'll ever see. The last workout, July 12th, on the turf training track, 48-4, pretty good. Ward always, everybody raves about this guy at Keeneland with those super early 2-year-old races there that take place in April. And sometimes I feel like he gets a little overbet at Saratoga because of that sort of aura with these 2-year-olds. But 8-1 on the morning line, I think, for this 5. And should we probably be getting all of that, I would think, given some of the other connections in this field. I think he's always eligible to um, score with a firster at Saratoga. So would hate to get beat by him here.
Yeah, exactly. And while he's or she's a gun runner, um, so she's not like exactly bred for turf. The dam side, Brisnet's shown a 13% first time turf win percentage out of those horses. So I'll be honest, I'm pretty sure that's what that means, but
Yeah,
which is the highest in the field. And like you said, Ward with the 2-year-old on the turf at 8-1. This is, a horse would want.
yeah. The next one was the 7 Panache, and I think what drew me to this one was just the fact that um, it has a start under her belt, and from the other horses in this field that have run before, she was the most inspiring. And a lot of times, of course, we see in these juvenile races, a lot of times these horses aren't necessarily ready to run first time out, or stuff bothers them that obviously they haven't seen before because they've never been in a race. So just having that little bit of experience, I think bodes well in a pretty deep field. And Sherry DeVos is as good as they come, and is getting a lot of chatter, deservedly so, over the last 6 or 12 months. So based on some of the others in here that have run before, I think this one kind of stood out, and figured we'd need to include her.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. And Sherry DeVoe's been good. And according to the Brisnet breeding, um, she does have a tick more a turf pedigree. And with these 5.5 furlong races at Churchill Downs, I mean, the trip note reads that she was off a step slow. Or if you're off a step slow in those 2-year-old 5.5 furlong races, you're gonna lose by 11 lengths, no matter what kind of horse you are. So in a $275,000 purchase, who may like the turf more, I think this, you get Jose Ortiz, who's always riding well, and um, I just think this is a horse that could pop at a decent number.
And then this 9, like I mentioned a few minutes ago, consistent workouts from mid-April through mid-July. So rare art, the 9 has got to be arguably the fittest horse in this race, and ready to roll, you would think. Another one for Luis Saez, but what was it about this one that caught your eye, Kev?
Yeah, I mean, she's bred for turf, probably the best, the highest rated turf runner in here. Let me just confirm that actually. Uh, yeah, one tick below the one yesterday, the George Weaver. But yeah, and just been solid, steady workouts on the turf too, which I always like. And like you said, this horse should be ready to run, should be fit. Where hopefully some of these other horses aren't fully ready to go the full mile and 16th yet. Hopefully, this horse can kind of hang around and be there late.
Yeah, especially for some you know lighter connections, I guess. But David Aragona put this 61 on the morning line, so figuring it'll take at least a little bit of money. So we'll see. But yeah, that workout line is really what kind of intrigued me about this runner. Just given the distance, mile and 16th, like you said, I think it's a good point that perhaps some might not be conditioned enough to go that far. And this one's been training consistently for several months, and should be up to the task. And at least that's what we're banking on. All right. Let's just take a quick timeout. We'll come back. We'll show the full ticket. We'll run through it one last time, and then we'll wrap it up and get everybody out of here. All right. Here's the ticket. Kick it off. Race 5, the Shuvee. We're singling Raging Sea. Feel like she's getting a little bit of relief going against a weaker field than she saw going up against Randomized and Idiomatic in that Ogden Phipps on Belmont weekend. So we're singling her. 3 deep in the 6th. Warrior Richard, the 3. The 4, Midnight Worker, the 8, Anthracite, and fully aware that we are purposefully leaving off that 5 for Ray Handel. That's taking a pretty big class drop. But, to your point earlier, Kev, as is Warrior Richard. So, we figure that 5's probably going to go off favored, and we're trying to beat that one. And then 4 deep in the 7th race, first time starter, the 2 Virgin Colada for Chad Brown, the 5 Running Away, first time starter for Wesley Ward, 7 Panache for Sherry DeVoe. In my view, the best horse in the field that has a start under her belt. And then the 9, likely the fittest horse in the race, the 9, Rare Art.
Feels like a winning ticket. If we do have a minute, I do have another weekly spot play for the people.
All right, hold on. Let me get the banner ready to roll.
So for everyone that watched last week, we had a nice $10 winner. It's a Miracle, stuffed that Repoli stable protective in a locker. A horse I can't believe is still maidens running every Kentucky Derby prep known to man. Anyway, moving on. Race 8 Sunday, mile and 16th on the turf, allowance race. Give me the 3, Awesome Check. Second start of the 3-year-old season, off a layoff. Been running in listed stakes company, lost to oversubscribed last time out. Very talented horse for Chad Brown. This horse is 5-1 on the morning line. Will likely stick around there with as there's a few horses, 1 or 2 kind of in similar area of odds. I think this horse will be up front and pouncing as they hit the stretch. It's going to be Awesome Check, number 3, Manny Franco aboard.
All right. There you have it. Kev is 1 for 1 on spot plays for the Saratoga Sunday sequence here on Past the Wire TV. Tons of action coming up. We're recording this late night on Thursday. So it'll be up, Thursday night, Friday morning. Giosetti is in and around the barns at Monmouth Park, covering the Haskell for Past the Wire. He is doing his signature deep dive handicap of the entire race. He's going to give you the full order in which he thinks they're going to finish, 1 through 6, 7, or 8, depending on how many actually make it into the starting gate. He's pumped up about it, and I know that I'm pumped up about it. John's pumped about it, and the show's gonna come out Friday morning. So be sure to check that out. And then there's also the live show that we did last night, where we covered the curling coming up on Friday at Saratoga. We covered the Lake George and the CCA Oaks on Saturday with Torpedo Anna. So plenty of good content on the channel. Be sure to check it out. Kev, any parting words or thoughts before we wrap it up?
I will be boots on the ground on Saturday at the hometown track, Monmouth Park, down the road for the Haskell. Rooting on Mindframe. It's my early pick for the Haskell, along with just a lot of really good racing. And looking forward to it. I'm interested to see if Arzak is able to win a turf sprint outside of Keeneland, but we will see.
Yeah, I was talking to somebody else about that today. Figure he's probably going to get over bet. Not sure he has it in him at Monmouth.
It's true. Some say the toughest place to play.
All right, there you have it, everybody. Good luck if you're playing. Good luck if you're tailing. Good luck to us too. See everybody next week.
Peace.
You're watching Past the Wire TV.